I never knew how to love until I turned 42. And that's not just a confession, it's the truth that changed everything. For most of my life, I thought I understood what love meant. I thought I knew about people, about life, and how the heart learns to heal. I had loved before, or at least I thought I did, but what I felt back then was not love. It was attachment, it was the fear of being alone, it was the need to be seen, to feel wanted, even for a little while. I confused comfort with connection. I mistook attention for affection, and I thought being needed was the same as being loved, but I was wrong. Real love does not come from fear, it comes from peace, and it took me 42 years to understand that. For decades, I chased what looked like love. I gave and gave, hoping someone would finally stay. I poured my heart out to people who were never meant to hold it, and when they left, they took a little piece of me each time until I had nothing left to give. I told myself I did not need love anymore. I built walls tall and strong, and behind them I hid my heart. I convinced myself that it was safer to stay alone than to be hurt again. I filled my days with work, routine, and responsibilities. I smiled when others talked out loud about love, but inside I did not believe in it anymore. I thought love was for dreamers, for people who still had hope, not for me, not for someone who had seen too much disappointment. Then one day, something unexpected happened. I meet someone not in a dramatic way, not through destiny's grand entrance, but in a quiet, ordinary moment, the kind of moment you don't realize is special until it stays in your heart. Maybe it was the way they spoke, calm and kind, or the way they listened, like every word I said truly mattered. It was not magic, but it felt like peace, and peace was something I had not felt in years. That first conversation did not feel like the beginning of something new. It felt like remembering something old, something my heart had been waiting to recognize. From that day, something started to shift in me. At first, I tried to ignore it. I told myself if I was just being friendly, that I was not ready, that I could not fall again. But I noticed how my days became higher when we spoke, how their words made my silence feel warm, not empty, how their presence made me feel calm, not afraid. It scared me, honestly, to feel again after so long being numb. I wanted to run like I always did, but something inside whispered, "Don't run this time." So I stayed, and staying changed everything because the more I spoke to them, the more I saw how wrong I had been about love. I used to think love was made of fireworks, grand gestures, and never ending passion. But now, at 42, I was learning that love was quite steady. Sure, it's not about what you say, it's about what you do. Without being asked, it's in the check in, the small acts of care, the way someone remembers the details you forgot you shared. Love is not about finding someone who makes your life perfect, it's about finding someone who makes your heart feel safe enough to be imperfect. They became that safety for me. The calm after years of chaos, the warmth I did not know I was missing. And slowly they began teaching me what love truly means, not through promises, but through presence, not through passion, but through peace. There were nights I could not sleep. I had replay our talks in my mind, feeling how natural it all was, nothing forced, nothing fake, just gentle understanding. And that's when I realized the reason love never worked before was not because I was not enough, it was because I did not know how to love right. I loved out of fear. Now I was learning to love with peace. At 42, love did not crash in like a storm. It arrived softly, like morning light through a certain slow, warm certain. It began to open up again, to share stories of my past, my fears, my regrets, and for the first time, I was not afraid of being judged. They did not try to fix me. They simply understood, and that changed everything. Love, I learned it not about control, it's about freedom. It's about giving someone the space to be themselves and still being grateful that they chose to stay close. It's about trust, about growing together, not shaping each other. Every day became a new lesson, a new way of giving, of feeling, of receiving. Love does not rush, it flows, it does not demand, it offers, it does not cage, it comforts. There was one night I will never forget. We sat together quietly, no noise, no distractions, and they asked softly, "Do you believe in love now?" I smiled, paused, and said, "I think I finally understand it." That moment stayed with me because I realized something deeper. Love does not come when you go chasing it, it finds you when you finally make peace with yourself. When you stop chasing what looks good and start feeling what's real. At 42, I learned that love is not about age, it's about readiness. It's about being open enough to receive it, mature enough to keep it, and gentle enough to give it back. And the most beautiful thing, I was not afraid anymore. I was not afraid to feel, to speak, to love, because love does not ask for perfection, it only asks for truth. Now, when I look at this person, I do not just see someone I love, I see someone who helped me find the parts of myself I had forgotten existed. They did not complete me, they reminded me that I was already whole. That's what real love does. It does not fill a void, it adds meaning to your wholeness. Sometimes I wonder why it took me so long to find this kind of love, but I understand now. I had to become the person who could recognize it, the person who would not run, who would not confuse love with attention, who would not mistake loneliness for connection. Because love is not something you chase, it's something you grow slowly, gently, with patience and care. Every time they smile, every time their eyes hold mine, it reminds myself this is what I was waiting for all along. Not fireworks, not fairy tales, just peace. Maybe that's what real love feels like when you finally learn it at 42. It does not make your heart race, it makes it rest. It does not feel like losing control, it feels like finding home. And sometimes, in the quiet hours of night, when the world is still, I whisper softly to myself, I never knew how to love until I turned 42. But now I see learning to love was not a single moment, it was a journey, a slow unfolding of everything I had forgotten. Every day since then has been a new discovery, a quick reminder that love is not something you feel once, it's something you live. Now I notice things differently. The morning sunlight sneaking through my curtains, the laughter of people passing by, the peace of holding a hand and saying nothing at all. I used to believe love had to be fairy and endless, but now I know it can be soft and calm and still be real. It does not need to shout, it does not need to sparkle, it just needs to stay. And though it's not perfect, it's honest. Sometimes we disagree, sometimes we fall silent, but we stay. We learn, we grow. Because real love does not walk away when things get hard. It stays long enough to understand. One evening, in a quiet moment, after a small argument, they looked at me and said, "You don't have to be perfect for me to love you." Those words broke something open in me because all my life I thought love had to be earned through pleasing, through proving, through being enough. But for the first time, I understood what unconditional meant. Love does not keep score, it forgives, it listens, it stays. Since that day, I have promised myself to love in a way that brings peace, not pressure. And now, time feels slower, moments stretch longer, even silence feels full. Love I have learned is not about excitement, it's about understanding, it's not about possession, it's about presence. Every moment with them feels like home, every look, every quiet love, every small gesture, it all reminds me that love does not have to be loud to be true. At 42, I finally learned that love is not found, it's grown patiently, tenderly, truthfully. And when I lay my head down at night, I smile softly and think this is love, not the one I used to chase, but the one that gently found me when I was ready to be found. Because real love does not rush, it rests, it does not take, it gives. It does not demand, it understands. And I will never forget the truth that changed my life. I never knew how to love until turned 42. Subscribe my channel please.